You made it. Lesson 5 for our Facebook posting strategy online course here at Online Ministry Made Simple. I'm so proud of you. Thanks for hanging in there. We've gone through a lot of content. Hopefully you've learned a lot along the way. One of the biggest questions I get when I share this with people is, this all sounds great, but I don't have the time. I really can't do this. This is just too much. I'm struggling as it is, and I understand it. I get that. I know that we're all a little overwhelmed. When the pandemic hit, it's like the workload for every pastor I know doubled and even tripled. It's like all of a sudden we had to be social media experts, we had to be live streaming experts, we had to understand all the filming and audio side of things and get people who knew what they were doing and try to find the equipment. It can be overwhelming. I understand that. But I also know that there's power in using online ministry. I know that it can help us reach people with the gospel. And again, if we are serious about discipleship, we're serious about discipling people, not just in our building, but people that are connected to our church, then this is something we've got to get better at. It's something that we've got to prioritize. And the reality is, and I don't know at what point you're watching this in the future, but your church is probably not back at pre-COVID attendance levels. And so that means there are a lot of people who are still connected to you on social media that may not be attending in person. This is the opportunity to reach them, to disciple them, to help get them reconnected to the body of Christ. And so that's why I'm so passionate about this. I know you may not even love social media, but I also know that you can do this, that I've seen people of all ages and ability levels learn how to use social media more effectively. And I really believe on social media that, especially with all the events of the pandemic and the election and everything else that our country has been through, that we need more positive content on social media. Instead of retreating from it, the church needs to re-engage and take the lead in using it the right way. And so, again, I just want to thank you for investing your time into this course to learn more about how to use this to really reach people with the message of the gospel. I want to talk about one of the tools that I think is so important that as we get into this, and I alluded to it in lesson 4. I think I did, maybe I didn't, I can't remember. But it's the tool, a way to create graphics that go along with your post. Now, you may be familiar with a tool like Photoshop, but here's the problem with Photoshop. It's expensive and it's hard to use. There's some other programs out there like Photoshop. I really love Affinity Photo. It's a kind of an imitation program, made so to speak, but it's really powerful, one-time expense. You'll find it on sale a lot. It's available for Windows and Mac. So it's another good graphic program, but there's something that I really feel like if you aren't using it, that it will take your social media game to the next level, and that program is Canva. Canva, Canva. And here's the great thing about Canva. You can access it from the internet. And so it's a web app. You can also download it as an application on your desktop. You can also use it as an app on your phone or your tablet. So multiple ways to use it. But this app, here's how it works. You tell it what you want to create. I want to create a Facebook post. I want to create a social, an Instagram post. I want to create a blog image for your website. Whatever it is, you tell it that. Then it gives you a list of templates you can choose from. And so you find something that looks like you want it, you find something that's close to what you want it to look like. You choose that. Then you can edit the background. You can edit the colors. You can edit the font. It gives you shapes that you can add and images you can add and text. Text effects that you can add. So you take it gives you a starting place. And so here's what I love about their templates. They really do look good. There's something to be said for a good starting place so that you don't have to create it from scratch. And for me, I've told churches for years, please quit using clip art. I've seen so many churches use data, and as soon as you look at something, I say, ooh, they created that in Microsoft Publisher, and it does not look good, right? It looks 20 years old. It looks 30 years old. we've got to get away from that. And so the nice thing about Canva, they're constantly adding new templates that reflect the current style of the culture around us. So we can take an image, we can drop new images in, we can change the fonts, we can put our own logos in. It's really amazing. You can copy and paste Bible verses and put in it and create a background for a Bible verse post. You can you can even do it for more advanced things. You can do your entire church bulletin if you still do that. We don't, and I recommend that that's something that you may want to get away from. But if you want to do a bulletin, or you want to do a program, or you want to do a poster for an event, man, Canva is a great tool for you to do that. It really is easy to use. It is also free. It's free. They do offer a paid version that I'll talk about. The free version has a few minor drawbacks. One is that some of the images and some of the things that you add, that they will ask that you pay for them when you download the image. So it'll tell you before you use it. It'll say this is a paid image, but then it may be $1 to use it, and you can download. So that's one drawback. Another drawback is that it does not have a background remover. The paid version, it will automatically remove the background. So if you have something, you have a person and you want to crop them out of the background, it'll do that for you. So it's really a powerful program. Now here's the good news. The paid version, you can pay it and get access to all those features. And one of the, and there's even a content scheduler there that I'll talk about in a minute. But here's the good news. They also have a Canva for Nonprofits version. And the nonprofits version is free. And so you have to jump through a few hoops to get it, but when you do, it really is worth it. They do require that you have a 501c3. And so for most churches, if you're a part of a denomination, if you don't have your own 501c3, your denomination has one that they can get you a copy of that you can use for this. So that's one way you can get access to the Canva for Nonprofits. But you do have to have, they are very strict about that. You have to have a 501c3 to get the free version. Here's what that free version gives you. Again, it gives you all of that content, all the photos, all the special effects. It gives you that for free. It gives you the background remover for free, and it gives you the content scheduler for free. Let me tell you about the content scheduler. The content scheduler, you can actually, from within inside of Canva, you can sit down, you could do 2 or 3 posts, like graphics for your post, and you can actually schedule them for Facebook from inside of Canva. So you can say, I want this to post Monday at 10 a.m. I want this to post Wednesday at 1 p.m. I want this to post Thursday at 5 p.m. Whatever, you go ahead, you set it all up at one time, and you can set it and forget it. And that's what's great about the content scheduler inside of Canva. It's got it's even got some more things built into the Canva for Nonprofits that our church takes advantage of. You can upload all of your logos for the church. And so then you have your logos available. You can invite up to 10 users within your church to have access to this. So all 10 of those users have the logos. You can set fonts and default fonts and default color combinations. So you can have a consistent style between ministries and departments. And all of that is inside of Canva. So I could do an entire course just on how to use Canva, but know that it's powerful, that it's easy to use, and that if you're not already using it, I would highly recommend that you start using it to generate the graphics that go along with your social media post. One of the quickest ways to get people to stop and read your content is to have a good graphic to go with it. So I encourage you to do that. I want to talk about one final thing, and that is time management. Again, I mentioned earlier that I know for many people, you're worried about, I just don't know if I have the time to do this. I get it. I understand. I really do. The church I pastor, I'm the only full-time staff. And so we're in a very small town of between 6,000 and 7,000 people in the mountains of Southwest Virginia. We do have several part-time staff that help. And so I know what it's like to be in a smaller church in a smaller town. I get that. And so if you're in a large church, you have multiple people doing this, the lessons still apply. but you can spread it out. But for those that are doing this, and the majority of churches, right, the statistics will show 8 out of 10 or even 9 out of 10 churches are the same size as our church or smaller. So I understand that. I know that for many church leaders, this can be overwhelming. I want to kind of help you develop a plan, again, that's sustainable. And one of the ways we do that is we need a healthy rhythm of life. I'm a firm believer that we need a rhythm that is sustainable, a rhythm where we have, that we honor the Sabbath, that we take time off, that we're not working constantly over and over again. For me, my wake-up call was when I was 44 years old, I had a heart attack. Now, the doctors really they really couldn't explain why it happened. They looked and they saw a few things that were concerning. For me, I kind of stepped back, and I think one of the bigger reasons was stress. And stress in ministry can have a dramatic impact on your health. I experienced it firsthand. So I'm just telling you, right, this is everything we've talked about. It's not to generate more stress. It's not to generate more work for you. One of the biggest things you may need to do as you start doing more social media is to figure out what you can eliminate from your schedule. It's how to slow down, how to do what's most important. What are the things that you're doing week to week that don't have to be done? What are the things that you're doing that can be delegated? What are the things that you're doing now that add value to your life and bring you energy? And you need to do more of those. All right. And so I'll encourage you to really think about your overall rhythm of life and where social media fits into that and where this Facebook posting fits into that. I would recommend one of the things you can do is to block off time each week for social media. And so you're not sitting at the dinner table thinking, man, I didn't post today, I need to do something. Take a 1 hour a week, 2 hours a week, whatever you can devote to it. If you say 1 hour a week is all I've got, hey, let's work with that. Let's take 1 hour a week and let's sit down using that posting plan that you've already written out, you've already developed, that we worked on in lesson 4. Let's take that and generate a week's worth of content at one time and schedule it in advance. Let's figure out when that time can be that you block it off. If you've not studied kind of time blocking methods, I would recommend a couple of resources for you. One, Carey Nieuwhof has some excellent material on moving to a fixed calendar. And so what a fixed calendar is saying, okay, I'm going to block out time on Monday for maybe sermon research. Tuesday is my meeting day. Wednesday, I'm going to do visitation. Or Thursday, it's taking the different times of the day and kind of taking this chunk, and this is what I'm going to use it for. This chunk is what I'm going to use it for. And then protecting that time. There's going to always be exceptions, but you have a plan for your week, a fixed calendar. Moving to that will really help you get a healthy rhythm involved. Michael Hyatt, another noted author, has something very similar. He calls it an ideal week. So he'll have templates that you can plan out your ideal week. What is the ideal week for you? What would it look like? What is it? When are you? And this not only helps you with social media, this helps you with your own walk with Jesus, right? As we really think about, these are the days that I'm going to be spending in Sabbath. This is the time I'm going to be in the Word, growing closer to my Savior. I'm just telling you right now, this may be the biggest lesson that you'll take away from this entire course is time management. And if you make social media a priority, but you put it in the context, right, of a healthy rhythm of life, you'll come out of this the other side with a plan that's sustainable, a plan that gives life and energy to you, and a plan that will help your church and help your ministry it'll help you be in it for the long run. So I really want to encourage you to do that. It really just comes down to budgeting your time just like you budget your money. I want to say this is where I'm using my time, this is where my energy is most effective, and this is how I'm going to do it. So I encourage you to do that. I also want to talk about how you can get help. And again, don't be a lone ranger in this thinking you have to do everything. I already mentioned when we talked about Facebook groups, the importance of getting more people involved and kind of going to your leaders and getting them posting on it, inviting other people. Your group is a great place for that. But even for your Facebook page, I would encourage you to get your other ministry leaders involved. Get your other ministry leaders really posting and sharing and serving and talking about it. And that will be important that you can do that. And so that's a way you can get help. You can have people with different permission levels. You can have administrators, you can have editors. You can have people that have access to advertising, and you can have all different things, but get people that can help you share the load. And then when it comes to Facebook as well, one other big important thing that I haven't touched on is that you need more than one person as an administrator. You do not want to get locked out of your account. And so when it comes to your Facebook page, be sure that you have multiple people who are admins that can, in case someone gets locked out of their Facebook account, you're not locked out of your church. So this is important. And Facebook's not always the easiest to work with. You can't just pick up a phone, call them and say, hey, I've got this problem. It takes time. So if you have multiple people who are admins, it can really prevent some pretty significant problems down the road. So I would also encourage you, as you think about who you can invite to help you, to look at people younger than yourself. Even for myself, I feel like I'm well versed in social media, but there's still things that I don't know, and still things I'm learning, still things I have to ask my kids about. And so the same is true probably for you as well. Look for those people who are already using social media effectively and get them to help you with it. And so that's a great way to really keep growing this team. And that's really what I would encourage you to do. If you don't have a technology team, a social media team, in this day and age, that's something we need to develop. It's just as important, right? As a missions ministry, or as a youth ministry, or a children's ministry, this is a ministry. Why? Because we're reaching people with the gospel. And so build a ministry team around this. Get a leader, get a purpose, get people on the team, and start sharing the responsibility, and you will reap the dividends from that. I want to close this whole course with talking about how we can schedule our posts in advance. I've already mentioned that you can use Canva and do the content scheduler in that. That's really a good way to schedule content. Facebook also has something called the Creator Studio. And so if you just Google Facebook Creator Studio, you can pull it up. The Creator Studio is the place inside of Facebook where you can schedule your post. It gives you access to all sorts of tools that you can use to do your post in advance. Not only that, since Facebook and Instagram are owned by the same company, you can actually schedule posts on both from the Creator Studio. So it's a great way to consolidate your activity on social media, to use it to schedule posts. I just mentioned earlier, I think this is so important that we really schedule our post in advance. And there's times that we can jump on and add something to it, add a new post, but that way you're not worrying every day, is there something on there? You've got a steady stream of posts that are going. So Creator Studio is really a great way to do that. Facebook also has the Business Suite. This adds not only posting, this adds advertising, it adds all sorts of the advanced kind of features within the analytics, everything into the insights into your post. This is everything in one place. It's a little more confusing, but it's a little more powerful. And so if you've not really checked out the Business Suite yet, you may want to set it up and start using it. But it's really pretty amazing what you can do. You've got third-party apps that you can use to schedule your post. There's all sorts of apps that you can use. Most of them, however, are paid apps. So the great thing about Canva Content Scheduler for nonprofits, it's free. The Facebook Creator Studio, it's free. I like free. Free works for churches. So I would recommend you use something that's free over something that maybe is more powerful but that costs money, unless you have the budget to do it, unless you have the team to put it into practice. For most people, for most churches, the free tools will be more than sufficient. Now there's a lot in this course that I did not cover. I did not cover Facebook advertising. That's a whole separate lesson in and of itself, how you can use Facebook ads. I did not really cover how you can do targeted ads and the Facebook Pixel and all that in advertising is so powerful. How you can do retargeting, how you can say, I want to share this post with these people. And so you have that ability within Facebook with customized ads, with customized audiences. You can do so much. And so hopefully what this lesson has done is kind of opened up your eyes to the power of Facebook and how you can use it to further the mission of your church, how you can reach people online with the gospel. And so I hope you take what you've learned and keep going. Don't stop with what you've learned here today, but keep going, keep putting more and more information and knowledge into practice. And here's what I ask you to do. Will you let me know how this course has helped you? I would love to hear back from you. I'd love to hear stories of how this has helped your church reach more people for Christ. I'll be praying for you guys. Continue to pray for me and my ministry. We're in this thing together. So I hope this has been a blessing to you. It's been a blessing to me preparing it. So God bless. And I hope you use this to reach more people for Jesus.